Hi, everyone. It's Diane Evans for stampingwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So welcome to my Facebook page or to my YouTube channel. I really do appreciate it. This is Tuesday. This is my Technique Tuesday, and this is where I show you different techniques and even variations of other techniques that I have done. Now, if this is one of your first times joining me on YouTube, make sure that you're subscribed. Hit the subscribe button just down below here, and then also hit the bell, and then you get notified immediately. And if you're on my page, just make sure that you like it, not following, but you like it, and then you do get notifications right away. Well, welcome. And if you don't like it when I do talk with different people, what you can do is watch it on a replay, scoot on by, and basically you can skip some of that part. But it's because of the people that do join me daily on a weekly basis that I truly appreciate. And they're the reason why I'm here. They're the ones that keep me coming back. That's for sure. Hello, Kay, and hello, Laura. Laura, long time no talk. A lot of times just before I go live, I'm talking with Laura, and it's quite interesting because I go, this isn't working. And you'll see with this particular technique, this is a technique that is actually, remember I told you that a lot of times what happens with the technique, I'll take it from an artist that's done it in the past. There's lots of artists out there on YouTube, and they do some pretty amazing things, and we can incorporate those as well with our stamping as well. Hello, Janet, and hello, Lorraine. Long time no see, I too. It was one of those days that I did an awful lot of visiting with my team today. So it was a pretty cool day. Anyways, so today what we're doing, and this is also a technique that I'm going to be showing on a blog. It'll be the last Friday of the month. It's an international technique group that I blog with. And yeah, so it's called the ghosting technique. Now, I have done this before, and I think if you remember correctly, it was Greatest Adventure, the one with the train, but that's more like a shadowing one that I'm doing. You're going to see something a little bit different with this. Now, we didn't really, the stamps that I wanted to use, we found out that it's retired because it was an online exclusive. So quickly had to pivot and use something else. Hello, Rita, and hello, Marjorie. Awesome. So what are we doing? Okay, so ghosting technique. Like I say, this is actually from an artist that's done a lot of this sort of stuff. And it's a lot with mixed media. And I find with mixed media, you can incorporate an awful lot of mixed media stuff with stuff for stamping. And we can go from there. Hello, Vicky, all the way from Australia. Welcome. Okay, now, like I say, this is another version, and I have done two other versions with this, but it's more of an artist point of view of doing it. So what you want to do is we are going to use, and it's nothing special that we're using. We all probably have all of this stuff in our craft room, but I'm just using some basic white cardstock. And what I'm going to do is we are using this ink. Now, you can use a variation and you can use a Versamark with it. I find it doesn't quite give you that ghosty look that you may want, but it's Whisper White. And of course, when you order this now, you order it and it comes with this, and you have to refill your thing yourself. Sometimes that's the tricky part of doing it. I have an old pad that I like to use. But sometimes the best way to re-ink this is just to put it on. It's quite thick. It's a craft ink, so it goes on quite thick. And then all you're going to do is you can take a spoon and spread it around. You can also take a bone folder you could take with it. I'm just going to go ahead and use a spoon, and all you're going to do is just move that into the ink pad, just like that. Pretty simple. Now, if you're inking up right from scratch, what you want to do is you are going to have to put lots of that ink on there for the first time. Now, I will tell you the reason why it's coming as uninked. I think near the end, what was happening, a lot of them Oops. A lot of the stamp pads were coming, and I don't know if you were one of the ones that got it, but I know I was, where my whole craft pad was just, it was inside that cellophane packaging, and it was just white ink all over the place. All right, so we're just going to take this. We're not doing anything special with it. And I'm going to take a smaller image of a stamp. And I'm going to show you which one I actually used. Oh, here we go. I used textured floral. Now, I'm going to show you some other things that I tried it with. And I used something like this. I tried originally to use like maybe a snowflake pattern. You just want something that has a little solid, but not really, really dense. So we're going to just take that stamp, and this I'm using, that happens to be a photopolymer. So I'm going to come on with this, and I'm just going to come in with that stamp. Now, I haven't cleaned this from when I was trying it. I just take my stamp and I actually just run it under water and just scrub it a little bit. So I'm just going to randomly stamp this, and you're going to have to look onto the side, but you want a lot of this background. Like we're doing a background on here. We're not going to do too much. We're just coming in just like this. And I have it sort of on the edge, and you can kind of see where I've got it. Hello, Judy and Renee. Welcome. All right, so I'm just going to come in. Remember, when you're stamping random like this, what you want to do is you want to turn your stamp. Now, because of the stamp I have to use to get this effect to work, one that was going to work was the tropical leaf, and we just found out that it is completely retired. It was an online exclusive, and now it's retired, which is kind of sad. I really like that one, and I had lost a leaf stamp out of it, so I was hoping that I could replace it, but too late. Okay, so it's just like that. I'm going to come in and I will wash that. I do not use it on my scrubber, because I find this is a pigment ink, and what happens is that it's going to stain that, and it dries white. So I'm just going to use an old rag underwater and scrub it. Okay, now you could turn around and we could get this dry, and this is going to take longer to dry because it's pigment ink, right? But we're going to just let it kind of dry a little bit. Now, my whole thing was I wanted a solid stamp. So when I come in, now I don't even think I can show you that tropical leaf now. Yeah, here, I'll show it to you. So I thought this would be perfect to do with it, because what you want now is you want a solid stamp. You want a stamp that has it's not distinctive. Like this one with the textured floral is not going to work because that's a distinctive stamp. I tried using snowflakes, and it didn't work. Anything that's big like this wouldn't work either. This might work, but not enough. So thanks to Laura. Laura's actually the one that went and said, why don't you use that leaf collection? So of course, that's what I'm going to actually use here. Hello, Connie, and hello, Cheryl. So I'm actually going to use this one. Now, it's not quite solid enough, but it's going to work because there's other things that we can do with it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to come in with this stamp, and I happen to have it just mounted on here, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to ink it up. Now I want this to be quite vibrant colors, not vibrant, but more, I'm going to go with green tones, but I'm going with the Granny Apple Green, and I'm just going to randomly stamp that. Now I would go in with Pretty Peacock with my big one. And then I was thinking to myself, oh, I'm going to get it all green with this, because when I first tried this out, I was just sort of doing it wherever. So what I did was I took one of our blank stamping spots and I re-inked it, or I used the inker, and see that's going to be quite wet, and I'm hoping that this is going to have all of that covered. I can't really see where it's covered with the Granny Apple Green, but you know what? It's going to add to the effect, right? So, and then what I do with my re-inkers is I just take a circle and I just punch out the color that it is. And then that way you know what it is. If you were part of the In Color Club, you got one of these and you would refill it yourself. Okay, so I'm hoping I've kind of got it in all the area. We're going to keep our fingers crossed anyways. And then what I'm going to do with this part here, remember this is called ghosting, right? So I'm going to take the part that's inked up with the craft pigment ink. I'm sure hoping that that's covered. If it isn't, it's going to be what it is, right? So I'm just going to lay that down there, and I'm going to come in and I'm just going to rub this down. I want to get that. Background stamps are best done this way. And I always find it's best to actually go in with a stamp pad. I happen to have this spot here, so I'm just going to rub it over there. And that works to help with that. Now, like I say, I should have had my glasses on when I did that Granny Apple Green, and I didn't. So let's just hope that that's done. Let's just take a little bit of a peek. See that we've got it all off of there. Kind of. Okay. I'm going to close this up and we're going to keep our fingers crossed that this worked. All right. So I'm just going to lift this up. And can you see how, and you can't see it right yet, but you're going to see this a little bit more. You can actually see it more on here, what it's doing, where that craft ink was, it kept the ink onto the stamp set and then didn't do it on here or on there. Now, where that craft ink is now leaving ghost marks on here, like that sort of stuff. Now, we're not quite done with it to show you how it's going to work. So I felt that you had to do a tiny bit more with it. Now, at this point, I'm going to actually dry it a little bit with my heat tool. I've got it just on low. And we're just going to kind of heat set that a little bit. Hello, Wanda. My newfound scrapbooking friend in Washington, Oregon, just south of us. All right, so just a bit like that. And then what I'm going to do, and it's not really dry, I'm going to tell you that right now. But I am going to come in, and now I'm coming in with a sponge or with a blending brush. And I'm going to take some of my Granny Apple Green, and I do not want to get any of that white pigment on any of this. So I'm going to get this good and sponged up into the lid, right? And then we're just going to come. I'm going to bring this in. It is a messy technique. I told you that, right? All right, so then we're just going to come in like this, and we're just going to do a bit of sponging just because we want some color, more color on here. I love this. Now you can see where that's been stamped. It's now starting to pop through. Like I say, we don't want to dip that back in to our stamp pad, or else we're going to have a real mess. All right, so just like that. Now, once I do this with the peacock, the pretty peacock, you are really going to notice this part of the ghosting on there. Like I say, I've never seen this technique done this way. Like I say, ghosting is usually where you have another shadow behind, right? Well, with this one, it's not like that. It's like that background, that spotted background, this one here is now starting to pop through. So yeah. All right, so do I have enough in here? Remember, we do not want to go back into that. Now, this is, see how it's starting to come through? And it's also going to show on where I stamped it on the leaves. Now, but different, see? Now, depending on what you want to do, I think this would be lots of fun for even like a junk journal or something like that. But fun. Isn't that beautiful? Look at how that just comes through. Okay, of course, oops, see, I almost got that in there. Let's just get that. And I love these two colors together. I think Pretty Peacock and Granny Apple Green. I sure would like a bit more of that stuff in there, but I've got to be careful. Okay, so like I say, there's our ghosting technique. What do you think? Different, isn't it? Now, you could also do this with the Versamark. Now, when I show you the stamp set again, see how that is why it has the ghosting part in there. Now, let me just show you quickly. This had used that leaf, and see, I didn't do any of that sponging in between, but you can kind of see on that, excuse me, that leaf, how that white part came through. I tried it with snowflakes. It kind of worked. It didn't really. It worked okay on the submarine, but I thought, what am I going to do with a submarine, right? So I was just playing around to see what worked. Now, this was a snowflake and then the blending afterwards, and it did nothing for me. I thought it would be a really good subject for a card, but anyways, we're stuck with this. All right, so of course we have to make the card, and you know me, like I always say, well, it's not the card that's important, it's the technique, but you got to make a pretty card that goes with it too as well. So I went and I used some Granny Apple Green. I'm really stuck on this. You know, I never used this color before. All right, and then we're just going to use our bone folder. I have, this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of Pretty Peacock that's 4 by 5 1/4. And then this piece is 3 3/4 by 5. Now, we could have had different levels, but what a pretty card, right? So I'm not going to put it on there because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of, we're going to use some ribbon. It is fun. It's a little messy, but you know, it's something that's different. And by doing a different technique on a different background and everything else, people will look at it and go, oh, how did you do that? I actually got a card when I was in, was it Vienna or was it in Rotterdam? And I still haven't figured out how to do the technique. And even the technique was shown on there. I still haven't figured it out. I got to find that card now. But see how that's going to go really quite nicely on there. All right. So then I went, oh, what do I put on here? Like, I got to have something. I can't just have a card like that. So I think what I'll do is I'll use one of these. These are the layering leaves. And, well, you know me, I'm going to have to turn around and wonder what I did with that. I was going to use this punch, which is one, but I don't know. I have this that's cut out with my greetings. Oh, here's one. Here it is. See, so that could go like that, but we need to have something on there. So I could do sending hugs. Thank you so much. Best wishes. What should we do? What kind of a card do we want to do? I'm going to come in with a ribbon that works really well with this, and it's a Pretty Peacock, and it has some gold in it. So that's why I didn't attach that there. All right. I need somebody to tell me what kind of a card I need to do. Best wishes? Sure. I think that would go on here. Oh, maybe it won't. Oh, it's pretty tight. I'm going to have to change there, Judy. I haven't done a sending hugs for somebody. Yeah, there we go. Let's do a sending hugs. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our block and you know me, I gotta do it with white embossing and Versamark. I still say anytime you can get away with dark sentiment layers if you use embossing. So, and I'm going to use white because I think it's going to be so starky on here. Oh, there we go. Well, it kind of, here we go. So sending hugs. Ooh, that'll look nice on there. Very nice. This is a great stamp set. It's actually stuck around for a couple of years. So actually was $1 million set from Rachel Tessman. So, and it goes with that punch that goes with that too. All right, so anybody could do with a hug, right? And like I say, this is that punch. It's that stamp set. Oh, geez. Why can't I remember the names of these stamp sets? Lovely and Sweet, or what? Anyways, you could get it in a punch or in dies. It's my old age coming out, right? It's a great punch. Yes, it's nice. I like punches because they're quick, but the dies are nice because then you can do 3 on there. That would be kind of cool, right? Oh, that's really starting to come. Look, it's starting to dry, and look at it. It's starting to come through more. Quite liking that. All right, so just going to heat set this up. Remember, don't go like this. Just get it going from one end. This new Wow embossing powder is a little bit thinner. It's more of a fine embossing powder. And it does depend on the heat at how well it embosses. A little cooler today is embossing 100% better. All right. So on this, we could wrap this around. So we could wrap it around like that. We could do something like that, or we could take this like this. You know what? I think I'll do it kind of like this. Now, I haven't done anything with this. I wonder, labeled with love. There you go. Thanks, Laura. Labeled with love. I don't know if this can be torn apart and to look like it does something. So let's just see. It'd be kind of nice if you had some of that gold that would fray out. Let me just see how this is going to work. And just give a bit more texture and stuff on here. Just because it's kind of that type of a card. Ooh, that might be fun. It'll kind of fray out a little bit. I'm going to actually cut it just a bit more. Yeah, that'll work. So yeah, it's going to fray out a little bit, and I'm okay with that. Just going to come with this. And with the seal, I'm just putting it down there. And let's just put this on there. And that gives us a bit more texture, right? Nothing like texture on a card, right? And the more you pull this apart, the more it's going to fray. Every time I do this, I think of my granddaughter. She's OCD. She does not like anything that's messy like this. Now, when I say she's OCD, she is not that way about her bedroom, that's for sure. All right, so that can go there. That kind of adds a little bit. So see how we've done it that way. Now, let's see. I want to put that on with dimensionals, but because I don't want it sticking down, I'm just going to take my embossing buddy and get that glue off of there. Let's come in with our, oh, thank you, Rita. It's always fun to do different things with your cards. All right, so we have that, but we need something else. This is going on here. to me, I think it just needs a tiny bit of something else. Now, I went with the changing leaves, and I went and I cut out a bunch of things with the hybrid embossing folder. This isn't available right now. It's supposed to be available today, but it's not yet. So I have some with some gold, and I think that would just kind of just sort of set that off. But I might want just a tiny bit more of something in there. Let's see. I have another gold one here. Would it, this, oh, I can't use that. Let's just take this off. This one didn't quite fit into the die, so let's see how that's going to look. Kind of looks kind of nice, actually. And then let's just throw this one behind just to give some more texture. There. What do you think? So that'll work. All right, so then I'm just going to come and let's just glue some of this stuff on. And it's vellum. This is the vellum that comes with, that's an online exclusive as well. What is it called? It is called something Mercury. Laura, can you help me out again? Yeah, I don't know where I put it. How can I disappear that fast off of here? Anyways, so it's going to go down like that. And I think I'm going to attach this to the card right now. So this is just going to go here. I'm not wrapping it around, so that's why I'm going to attach this to the card, and it's going to be easier. We're just going to put this up here and then just bring these leaves down here. So, and you know what? It's going to be behind that, that sentiment. So I'm not going to worry about hiding it because it's a vellum. So let's just put that on there, just like that. And then let's just put this on there. You know what? I'm going to cut this leaf off too. I don't think we need it. And we'll just get that coming down there. Let's see. Yep, that'll work. Now, we could pop that up, but I don't think that's necessary. I'm going to have it a lot of free movement on it, so I'm not gluing it all down. So just like that. Just hold that for a second. Yeah, it's very pretty. It has 3 different styles with it. I think this was with the greenery. Was it not with the golden greenery lot? I'm pretty sure it was. All right, so that can go onto there. That just kind of gives us a bit of a, you know what? I should have kept that gold there. I have to stick that in there because I need something up there. Oops, a scrap, right? Okay, so tomorrow at 9:05, this will be on my Facebook group, and the link to my Facebook group here. And that'll be in the file section, and it's called ghosting. And I'd love to see what you do with ghosting. How many of you try these techniques? This one's pretty easy. Just have to play around with the different stamp sets, that's all, to make sure that it'll work. But I think once you start sponging it, it shows through. So I think on those ones, it would have shown through quite well as well. All right, so there we have that like that. So see how that's just going like there. And these are for another day. Aren't they pretty where they go through? And I even did this through there, so there's a bit of texture on that gold as well. All right, so then we have to finish this off with an embellishment. We did it with the ribbon. We were just talking about that today, that ribbon isn't, there's not as much ribbon as there used to be. So you definitely want to be able to use ribbon when you can use ribbon. So now these are the Pretty Peacock and Petal Pink, and I'm going to use Pretty Peacock. Oops. Thank you. You know, I'm kind of stuck on this color combination. You guys know that. And then let's go and put one more down here. And then, of course, we have to do something for the inside. Now, as far as the inside goes, you know, I could use some of these leaves because it kind of ties in. I don't know. Let's see. And we're going to come in with our Granny Apple Green. And then we're also going to come in with our Pretty Peacock. Now I've got this spot done, so I might as well use this spot. I happen to have a sponge dauber. Just going to put a bit of that on here, just like that. And then we're just going to put this down on onto the side here. And there we go. We just got a two-tone variegated leaf on there. All right. So remember, when you're doing like inking up a whole spot, what you want to do, or a whole background sort of thing, and you don't want to mix the colors, is make yourself one with the blank spots. Use the darker color, and you can cover the whole base with the lighter color. All right. So if you do live in Canada, I'd love to be your demonstrator. If you have any questions, please reach out. And there we go. There's our card. And that is doing the ghosting technique. So that's kind of fun, right? Awesome. Thanks, Lorraine. I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out, that card. I was a little concerned with how busy it was, but I think we unbusied it, or made it busier, but took away from that huge background there. All right, you guys, remember to, if you like that, give me the thumbs up, share my video. I really do appreciate it. If you watch me on a replay, tell me that you're watching on a replay. And if you do have any questions, or you have other suggestions for different techniques, I'd love to play along with it. And yeah, so remember to create, because it's great for the soul. See you tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific time with my mystery challenge. The clues will be posted at noon tomorrow, and that's also where I use something that you will have probably in your craft room, so you can craft along with us. And that reminds me, I've got to pull the winners, or do the random draw for the winners last month. All right, you guys, take care, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.